Okay, go.
Is it on?
It is.
Yes.
Okay, well then say hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2016 Merck's Annual Assembly. My name is Ken Snaps on the forums. We've got most of the council here. We've got Tom Mandalore. You want to say hello?
Hello, everybody.
We've got the Allure jumping in and out. His microphone is acting up. We've been trying to fix it. That's the delay, so apologies to everybody for our delay. We also have our tech officer, Thaxos. Sean, you want to say hi?
Hey, everyone.
We've got Sazzy our public relations officer. He's here. Rich, you want to say hi?
Yay! Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, there's Rob. He's back.
There we go.
Yay.
He has got technology.
Technology is a great thing.
The old
You know how to use it. All right, this is Rob. If I have not been introduced, Alor.
We did. We skipped right over you, though. That's all right. Hey, we also have Corey Snaps, our quartermaster. She's here. You want to say hi? No?
Hi.
All right. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Who else do we have? We have Tony.
No, you couldn't hear me?
No, I hear you now. Thanks. Tony, he's our the perso in charge of all the memberships. Tony, you want to say hi?
What's going on, guys?
We've got Sal. I can't even pronounce his screen name, so I'm not going to try. But he does our clan administration stuff for us. Sal, you want to say hi?
Hello, everybody.
There we go. Who else am I missing? Is that everybody?
I'm here.
All right. Oh, yeah, and our stand-in for the Conclave and the Brigadiers. So these two guys are generous enough to donate their time to us and help us fill in for their leadership who have other appointments they have to be at, helping Mercs do greater things right now. You guys want to jump in and say hi?
Hey, hey.
Hello.
Fantastic. Thanks, everybody. And once again, thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We apologize for the delays, but we'll get started right away. Tom, you want to give us a little howdy-do wrap-up of last year and what we're looking forward to for next year?
Yeah, well, 2015, huge year for us, a huge year for growth. Of course, we had Celebration 7, hit several milestones there as far as what we did at a celebration, our biggest showing yet. Had people coming in from all over the world, had members there from Russia, Australia. It was great. I think everybody who was there and who got to see the pictures and hear the stories really thought it was awesome. Force Awakens, that went over really well. I know we had issues with the blaster thing, but I think for all intents and purposes it went over very well. We represented Star Wars and what we do awesomely. And really that's that's really all I've got. LWI, we had some I believe we raised about $6,000 in LWI, which most of that went out. I think now we're even up to $8,000, and we're not even at half the year yet with LWI. So we're going to be looking at doing some things with that. Maybe doing a little bit more outreach with it, just seeing what we can do. So that's that's pretty much all I've got as we get ready for Celebration Europe. So
Thanks, Tom. That's wonderful. Can we jump right on to the next thing? Rob, do you have anything? You had a couple of things you wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep. Yeah, go right ahead.
All right, man. Yeah, the key thing was, it's about the streamlining the hearing process, the tribunal process. Anytime we have to handle, a situation in the clan, it's never fun, but it has to be done. And the problem we've been having is not this last one we had, but for the ones in the the one in the past, is that the time lapse is really, really long between the time we can actually get a tribunal started and finish it, because we really don't have any set deadlines. I think we need to discuss setting something, a minimum of 7 days or something along the lines that gives the people enough time to be able to contribute to the process. In other words, I understand some of the other countries, et cetera, different time zones, what have you, but there's no reason for something like this to stretch out for 3 or 4 months. It really needs to be concluded within maybe 2-3 weeks maximum, if possible. So my concern was if we could talk about maybe setting something in the bylaws or the codex or whatever that would establish that. That was one thing that concerned me. Another thing too, and it was in the agenda was having some sort of administrative help for the judicial officer. Sal's been helping out a lot with this stuff with the last situation we had, but the problem is, and Tommy's doing his best, but he's out west, and it really does take some legwork to get a lot of this stuff together. So I was probably a little more involved with the last one than I should be as far as the way the rules go. I didn't mind taking it on, but it had to be done. But the thing is, if we had a little extra administrative help, a lot of legwork could be done, and then all we would have to do basically is moderate the process and make sure it goes smoothly. So that's the two things that really concern me. That, and of course, getting me a jacuzzi at some point. But we're not even going to talk about that. So. Okay, go ahead. Who's next? Or you want to have discussion on that? I mean, it doesn't matter.
Saz, can we move on to you and have you give what you need to do?
Yeah, I mean, effectively, mine. I don't really have too much in the way of problems, to be honest. Most of mine has been just generally just saying how great my team has been. I mean, first of all, Battle Cry's been continuing on quite regularly. We've had, I mean, the last Battle Cry I felt was a lot stronger than some of the ones in the past, because I think a few people have really got on board with how we're doing things now, and we're also bringing more stuff to the table, so to speak. What we've been trying to do is try to, at least, each article would be a different thing. And we've also had a lot of organisational evaluation in the PR team. One of the things I've made quite clear to my team is that we really need to start thinking strongly about developing the team and adapting the team to the modern way of the Mercs. We have a lot of old systems and stories and processes in place which are now just not appropriate to the club anymore. In fact, we've got a lot of things that are not appropriate to the club, and I think we're going to have a look through a lot of things and dust away some of the cobwebs. We've been doing that, and we've kind of cleared the chaff from the wheat, so to speak. One of the things that we're working on is a Verilore library. We've pretty much got that done at the moment, and that will hopefully mean that all the Verilores will have access to all of the items that they could possibly need to get their job done, including as part of the process, we've started doing the quick guides for people. So we've done a general guide, we've done a Verilore's guide, and I'll be starting on a Alarad's guide shortly. For being posted up in the area for the Alarads and stuff like that. Trading cards. Excuse me a second. Sorry about that. Trading cards. It's been slightly put back with a lot of the celebration stuff. The problem that we're having at the moment is now that Lucasfilm have started stepping up their processes for Star Wars celebrations. So effectively, with celebration, you're apparently having a year to get sorted. A lot of my attention's been put towards celebration. So has a lot of the art team and the PR team. They've been pushed towards celebration, and they're going to probably do that again for the next celebration in the US as well, which is causing a bit of a problem because we're having a shortage of members of the art team. As you already know, I've already put forward a proposal to integrate the artists from the merchandising team and the art team under Pinocchio, so everything is in one place, so that he's got a better handle over what he's doing. I'm very happy with what he's been doing. And also because we've now got a person who's dedicated to actually looking at the workflow of the PR team. That's also shown some dividends, and some ideas have come up. And as some of you may already know, one of the things that we've already come through is getting a form sorted out for people to actually send off a form that will come into a dedicated area for the team to pick up. With along the lines for merchandise and stuff like that for their clans. So the other things that I'd also like to mention is that we've now increased our social media to Pinterest, and we're hopefully going to see about spreading ourselves out and expanding ourselves into that area as well. So the only other thing I just want to mention is the fact that I had to congratulate my team because for what I've been told is that at Disney, people were calling us as the Mandalorian Mercs, not just Mandalorians and not just Boba Fett and stuff like that. We were actually called the Mandalorian Mercs. So that comes down to a lot of people working really hard trying to get our brand out to people, and it's obviously starting to work. So everything's pretty peachy here in the PR team. So that's that.
All right, everybody, wake up.
I'm awake.
Wow.
Obviously, Rich doesn't have his chat on because he said I'm talking dirty to him.
Sean, can we have you give your report, please?
Sure. So basically, let's see. We've got the operational funds up for this year. We've increased the amount again, just because we're always growing bigger and using more web server space, having more bandwidth, and part of the operational fund too from that goes into supporting celebrations and all of that fun stuff. We've switched over as of the last assembly. We switched over to the new site. That's kind of old news for people these days, but we got a WordPress front end. And then the more recent addition was the clan websites. Those are just about done. Of everyone that has paid for that, we have 4 sites that just need a little bit of artwork, and one of them of which is waiting for a response from the Allarad for an email address in order to set it up. So we're just about done rolling that out, which is good.
Yeah, that'd be great. That's great.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll see a lot more use of those. We're going to continue to build them and expand and tweak it as it goes. It's kind of more of a beta launch to have clans use it, and then we try to put in features that we wanted clans to use. So for a clan to represent itself, we've got obviously the homepage, which pulls news from the invasion reports on the forums. So officers don't have to post up invasion reports on their site as well. Saves them the work. So then all they need to do really is put up stuff that's going to promote upcoming events, or promoting their own group, talking about stuff they're doing, armor parties, whatever they want to put on the content in that regard. There's a clan roster, which has a nice grid layout for all the photos of all the members, a little bit more information for the officers. There's a contact form so the officers can be reached directly. There's an invasion form link on that clan site, so that way people that are wanting to request events for them to attend still goes through our site. We've got a calendar so they can post up their own events, such as armor parties and other things to coordinate. And there's an about page where they can fill out some info, and then there's a photo gallery. If we find that we need some more stuff, we'll add it to the site, and we'll add that to all the sites, so that way they're common and have the same template for everything. The theming is matching to the front site, so as with our move to the new WordPress front end, we want everything to look like it's one continuous site. So going between the front end to the forum to the clan sites and back and forth, everything should look like you're still on one site.
That's awesome.
That's the clan sites. There's not really much more to add. If you're one of the clans like Takur, Turen, Haranivore, we're waiting on the clan logo, Vakchi, Twin Suns, Karamurat, Burunor Verda, Blue Moon, Veshok, Falco, Black Mountain Guard, Talon, Firestar, Mandagalar, Sarar, and Rakordan. Thank you for supporting this venture. Hopefully you guys are getting a good use out of it. As I said, there's a couple people still waiting on a little bit of artwork, final touches on it. But we're on schedule. It's there's a lot that goes into building the site, and as everybody knows, it's volunteer work after hours. And kind of just to springboard in, one big thing for the tech team this year is that I've gone and hired 14 people. I think it's seven moderators and 7 developers. There's a little bit of overlap, so some of the developers have a little bit of moderator. Some of the moderators are doing a little bit of development. Let me just pull up the exact info. So we have... Just a second.
Do you need my help, Sean? Because you know how professional I am with.
You're so tech savvy. You're so tech savvy, Rob.
I am. I'm so tech savvy. I am so experienced. I'll be glad to help you.
I didn't see your application, Rob. You didn't apply.
Oh God, please no.
Listen, go to the upper left-hand corner and there's a red X.
You mean upper right-hand corner?
Yeah, I'll see it. Whatever.
The only reason he didn't apply was because he couldn't find the button. So,
Yeah. So as most people saw, we had a moderation team posting where I had said there were 6 positions, and then we had a web development team with 6 positions as well. The moderator team is just 6 moderators for the bulk of the forums. Obviously, the clan sections are going to stay the same. The moderators are mostly focused on the lounge, the armor boards, and the other areas that general public members end up in. Just to keep things tight, to keep things working correctly.
Well, it is
also
working.
some work on the trading station too, because of course the quartermaster has her hands full, so we need to keep that thing running well. Saz, you were going to say?
No, as I said, the moderator thing is working because I had a PM this morning saying that my 60-day notice on Mabel's been is now passed. So I better post something, or I'm going to lose it. Use it or lose it, boy. So fair enough, it's working.
Yeah. And the moderator team too. I've tasked them with a couple things that we will see soon. We're just in the final stages of reviewing. We've gone over the forum rules, so those will be updated in a little bit more of a restructured manner in order to keep those organized and nice. We're working on a new member guide area, which is going to have a bunch of guides on how to do the basic forum stuff and try and help guide new members, new forum users into learning the forums a little easier. It's 2016 now. The Mercs has been around for quite some time, and the forum has grown from a very small thing to a very large thing, and we're realizing that it's more complicated than it used to be. So for people that have been here forever, like myself, I'm trying to get a lot of feedback from the new members or from the moderators that tend to be a little newer than I am anyways, and have a different perspective on, oh, well, it's easy. You just go here to here to here to here to here. And in my mind, it's like, oh, yeah, I know exactly where it's at. But for most other people, it's not necessarily intuitive. And then on the web development side of things, there were 6 positions as well. 1 SQL database, which is going to be great for a lot of long-term projects. We got an app developer as well, so we're going to be working on some apps for your phone. That'll be cool. I put out for 3 WordPress content developers, so helping out with the front-end site and the clan sites, and then also the quasi-separate entity that is the Vertica Core website. And then we also got 1 Python programmer. So we've got a couple projects that will involve Python programming, and I won't say too much because otherwise I'll have people bugging me. Is it done yet? Is it done yet? But it'll be good stuff. It's going to help out for clans at conventions and also with various.
Is that all you got?
Is that all I got?
Is it done yet?
It's not done yet. But
Okay.
yeah, so we ended up hiring 7 people on the moderator team, 7 people on the web development team. One of the big things that I know people are probably going to ask later on, if I don't address it now, is name changes. They are getting processed. We're almost caught up. This is why I hired a bunch of team members. For those that don't know, last year we had Celebration Anaheim in April, which was right around when the website was supposed to go up. And then we had the front-end website go up. That was a lot of work. And then we had the clan site project. We had the clan elections that came in. The strongholds rollout. So this period of time was kind of the soonest I could get the team hired and start to train them while not having too much else floating over my head. So along with everything else, there will be a change to the name change process coming up soon. There will be a form that'll get submitted. We're working on updating permissions so that way some other people can help out with that as well. So it's not just a singular task as it stands, for not to get too in depth, but There are certain things that can be done on the forums that require full administrator, which means that person can see into every board, including the council area. As such, we can't share that with most people. So as a result, it's limited, which means that the number of people working on it is limited, and as such, that's why it's taken a while. But we have a plan in the works to handle that. Just bear with me a little longer as we get everything sorted and have a more efficient machine running up and soon. That's everything. Next.
Thank you so much, Sean.
Quick question, Sean. Is it done yet?
No.
Corey, can you give us a little bit about what's been going on in the Quartermaster realm? Maybe?
Toilet?
I can.
Okay, go right ahead.
Yes, sorry, I had to unmute myself. Okay, thanks. I am currently working on a lot of shipping. I'm surrounded by envelopes and boxes. It's a little bit ridiculous, but thank you so much to all of my international customers, because you guys have been so patient. It's been ridiculous. And so I promise all your stuff is going to get ready to go. It's really right here. The Ori Ramakad coins have been through pre-sale and they're in production. I just got new official member packs ordered one for 2014 and you never got it. You're going to automatically get a 2016 because I ran out of 2014's at Celebration. So if you don't want one, then send me a message to request a refund. Otherwise, you're getting a 2016. And I ordered plenty of them, so everybody should be able to get their paws on one, at least one. Otherwise, stalled a little bit on new merch so that we can finish out everything that we're working on for London. The rest of the puzzle pieces will be out soon. I just placed the order, so I should have them within the next few weeks, and we'll get those out. The puzzle why people are why more people haven't purchased these pieces, because the European clans pulled out all the stops on their artwork, and it's just been great. We're almost done with the logo for London, so we'll be sending a whole bunch of stuff over there, and I've got artists who've been showing me the artwork they're working on that I'll be sending over there, and like for bookmarks and prints and all sorts of stuff. So we've got some great plans for that, and we're already looking toward what we're going to do for the next celebration, fundraising patches and that kind of thing. So that's where we're at, and then like Rich said, we just got the a form started for people to place the order for, and that includes then the tablecloth and things like that. You need to be able to go ahead and just order your stuff and get it to you, because all the information will be there and we won't have to do any back and forths, which is what has been holding up the process lately. It's just making sure that we get the address and get the payment taken care of, and then what exactly you want, and then getting the artwork. It's been a long process, so we're trying to streamline it and make it better. But I think that the forum's really going to help with that, so everybody should be able to benefit from that. And I think that's it.
Yay! Thank you, Corey.
Tony, you want to go in a bit about the personnel and apps processes?
Sure. All right. So, guys, our current membership is at 1,400 members in 1422. Little lower than I'd like, but I can explain why we're lower as I get into it. We've currently only approved 67 in 2016, so we're pretty far behind schedule. I was hoping to be at least at 110, but unfortunately we're only at 67, and we have currently 39 applications on our table right now. Now, to get into a lot of why we're behind, what we've implemented this last year after last year's Grand Assembly is the pre-app process. And in that pre-app process, each region has their own pre-application board. And with that pre-application board, the Rousselors are supposed to be putting, they're not required to, but it is strongly suggested, to grab their unofficial members and post their photos in there. So not just the Rousselor and the Roussel, but every clan officer in the region can view the application. Now, I know a lot of people say we have our own pre-app board. The problem is, if your clan is lacking in an area, and it's nothing wrong saying it, but some clans are better at weathering, some clans are better at armor placement. This allows you to get more eyes on the applicant and get a better chance at a first-time go. As of right now, with the numbers we're in, not counting past April 15th, we are seeing a 60% improvement for first-time goes for those who use the pre-application board. The problem with this is we're not seeing many clans taking advantage of this. And I've even had several Allereds tell me they refuse to do so. I understand that we want to keep everything close to the chest, but the club's getting bigger, and this is there to help you, and we have app team members that are specifically assigned to these regional app boards. So you're getting help from guys who know what we're looking for. It's just beneficial for you guys, and I'll be honest, when I get PMs, the first thing I look at is, do they participate in the pre-app board? And if they don't, unfortunately, you don't have much complaint with me, because we have a process that's working. I listened to everyone last year. I implemented it, and I know a lot of people are not using it, so it's a little disappointing that we asked for changes, I implemented them, and they're not being utilized. So again, guys, I stress to you, this is there for you guys. Yes, she does wear them. Thank you. So that's all I have about the pre-app board. Like I said, it's up to you guys whether you use it or not. We have discussed making it mandatory. I don't feel like it's prudent to do so, but because so few are using it, the conversation keeps coming up, and eventually it may come to fruition. I plan on it not being it, but again, let's take advantage of a system that's showing that over 60% of applications, and that's a lowball number, it's actually working. So please take advantage of my people. That's why I have such a large staff. Okay, next we're going to go to the Rousselor training. This board is also on the regional boards near the pre-app board. This board is for our Roussels and our Rousselors to actually all officers have access to it. The reason we did this past year was, again, last Grand Assembly, it was something that I felt would be useful. Took us a little while to get it started. This is so when an officer comes in, brand new Rousselor, he doesn't have to wait 4 months to get Rousselor trained like it was previously. He can jump in this as soon as he gets access to being a Rousselor. He has access to this board and access to a well of information. The problem, again, is clan officers being proactive. If our Roussels really need to use this, because they're the ones who should be conducting most of the training, they have access to my app team boards. They can't post in there, but they have access to view, so they know what we're asking, they know what we're looking for, and they know the common problems. If they're doing their homework, they can create training programs, pull pictures from these applications, which I've said they're fully in their right to do, and use these to illustrate this is what people are getting dinged on. Let's not allow it to happen in our region. The problem is, again, being proactive. And I could do everything for you. I could have my team do it for you, but we're all going to get burnt out. I need the Rousselors and Roussels to really start taking charge of their regions, because no one wants me in their kitchen. I make a mess, I invite Rob over, and we start cooking with the pants on, and it's never good. So, guys, we need you guys to start being proactive. And, you know, it's not a form tag. It's the workhorse of all officer positions. The Rousselor has a lot of work to do and gets the least amount of recognition for it, but it's the foundation of the clan. And if you're not building the foundation and you're not the go-to guy for that, the clan is going to struggle in a lot of other areas because that foundation is not built. So please, you know, reach out to me. Ask any of us what we can do to make this a better system, because our job is to approve applications, not to deny. And the last thing we want to do is send out all these denial emails, which has been a lot this year. We did an app team restructure in regards to this as well. where we split us into 4 teams. We have the application team, which is the team that views all the applications, votes yay or nay, and reviews all of them. That team is actually led by Kellen Ord. Then we have the communications team, which is led by Ring Vok Chi, and they handle all the email communications and Q&A board. And then we have the CRL team, which is fully dedicated to working on updating all our current CRLs because, yes, we get a lot of questions of, well, they're the 501st. It's a big job, guys, and yes, we took a lot of stuff from the 501st in the beginning because it made it easier. We wanted to have cohesion between the clubs, but the sad truth is that we're asking more. A Boba Fett, for us, it's not that we're trying to crash on the 501st and they're a great organization, but we approve Mandalorians every day. It's what our niche is. And we see things a little differently, even to the point of a color of the shoulder bells for Boba Fett are a lot different than what you would see people apply for. And we want to make sure our canon characters are well represented in the Mandalorian mark. So our CRL team is working on updating the old CRLs to wording that is more specific to the Mandalorian merc, so it's kind of our own, but still falls in the 501st, so we can have that cohesive CRLs between both clubs. Adjusting loopholes and just information that's lacking. That's headed by Ref Alderaan. Then we have our regional boards, which is our final team, and this is probably the most important team. This is the foundation of the app team. This is headed by Dahl Brawl, and basically they work with the regional app boards and the Roost Lord training. They're working with the Rusals, the clan officers. These are your guys you can go to and ask questions for. They're going to be very proactive in the boards, so please use and abuse them because that's what they're there for, is to make this an easier process. We are going to have 3 openings for the app team that I'm going to be posting next week. I wanted to get to the Grand Assembly before I did so, please just have any members who are interested in helping look for that announcement. I will have it to where the archivist can post it here next week, so that way we can open up the 3 positions and get people posted in. And there's more structure than there ever has been in regards to where we're focusing people. So anyone that's going to apply, you're going to have a responsibility, you're going to have a job, and we're going to make sure everyone's involved because that's what's kept us going so far. Now, my new project I'm going to offer is regional conference calls. Starting in June, I'm going to have I'll be announcing which region I'll do first, but starting in July is going to be my first conference call. And basically, I only want Rusalors and Rusals on this call because what I want to do is try to help develop, mold, set expectations, answer any concerns, address any issues, have a lot more open communication, and I want to give these people an opportunity to have some time with me to, if they need help with CRL issues, if they just need some time so they can get more comfortable reaching out to us, and we can kind of at the same time get more comfortable with them reaching out to them. I'm going to make sure I do this far in advance because I know we're going to have work issues, we're going to have time zone issues. We're going to set up a vote to find out what's the best day to get the most activity from the officers, so that way I get the most in one place. It will be on Google Hangouts. I will record it, so that way those who miss it will actually get the opportunity to actually still review it, and I can actually set up a one-on-one call, Facebook chat, anything that I can open up communications because I want to be more available for our Rusalors and Rusals. That said, there's a double-edged sword to this. If we have Rusalors or Rusals, which I'm hoping we don't have any Rusals, they've been doing a pretty fantastic job so far, that aren't active, that's another opportunity where if I don't see them on the regional calls, we're not seeing them on the pre-app boards, I might reach out to client officers or regional commanders and have them check in on these guys, because the truth of the matter is we've got to get active, ground-pounding, wrench-turning Rusalors who are going to make this happen, because, again, that's what's going to turn UMs into OMs, and we want to prevent more UMs from walking away, which we've had a lot more this year than anything else. My last point is going to be kind of a touchy one, but it's the correspondence from the membership. Guys, I need you to go easy on my team. They do a lot of work. We're talking 2 or 3 hours a night, sometimes 20 to 30 hours a week. It just depends on what's going on. It's rough. It's a tough job. No one wants to tell anyone who's put their heart in their kit. It's their creative design. They're happy this isn't up to par. It's the worst thing to have to tell someone. But what makes it worse is when we receive a correspondence that's very degrading, insulting, disrespectful, and just downright unprofessional. I've never posted any of these things to let anyone know. I've never even reached out. I may start doing this year because we're starting to see more of it. Guys, our standards are our standards. I'm not going to compromise anything. As long as I'm the personnel officer, which is going to be a while because I really love this job and I'm not going anywhere. So you guys are stuck with me. Please stop asking me to compromise our integrity. It's insulting. It bothers me. It bothers my team. It really gets us down because they're really proud of the work they do. We get to see your kits. Before anyone else gets to see an approved kit, we're the first one to get to see it, and we take pride in that. But when we have officers asking us to turn the other way, it's the wrong answer. And, I didn't really want to address it here, but I felt, this is probably the best place to do it where I can let you guys know of our frustrations in the app team of we are a little burnt out of the common insults pushing us in a way to where you can try and sneak one over on us. Look, we're here to uphold the costume requirements, the quality of the club. Please allow us.
Another point needs to be made as well is that there is a little bit of a line at the bottom of the application form which basically states that the applications team can and probably should will refuse to tender an application if they receive any sort of abuse by email or by any sort of media. It's up to you to make sure that you speak to the app team in a respectable way, because it could mean that you won't. I mean, the basic fact is the Mercs has a certain repertoire about itself. We have people here who are mature and be able to speak to people in a responsible and a mature manner. And if the first thing you do is insult someone because you're not getting your own way, then perhaps this is not the club for you. So that's why the rule's there. If the app team chooses, they can literally just ignore your application and you're no longer in the club.
Yeah, if it gets too oppressive, Tony, invite me into your kitchen because I love to cook.
I would love to cook with you. I will do so. And guys, so since I've become personnel officer, I've actually have 3 people that just can't join the club because of the way they've acted towards myself and my team. And I'm very patient with it, but at some point you do cross the line, and I try to work with people through and throughout. I'm very open. Ask questions. If you don't understand, ask before you start accusing and go off the deep end, because like Rich said, we can, and I actually have done it. I don't like doing it, but it's happened, and it's a sad part of the game of we've all got to act like adults, even though we're wearing costumes and running around 33-year-old men like myself, being a Mandalorian, which I love very much so, and so does everyone else here. We want this to be a welcome family, a fraternity of friends, a family. So please treat us the same way, and I promise you, if any of my team is out of line or disrespectful, I will address it right away. And that's all I have, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Tony. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
All right, who's next?
Hey, thanks, Tony. Sorry about that.
Turn the camera off. I don't want to see your ugly face.
Yeah.
There you go.
My God, look at that beard.
Good God, it's Grizzly Adams.
Hey, peekaboo. Sorry about all that. Anyway, Sal, we haven't heard from you yet. Can we get a report on what's going on in your neck of the woods?
Yes, absolutely. But first, let me just say I didn't realize things were so tough in Florida. You needed to sport a beard like that. Well, the CAO team have made a lot of changes over the past year. I want to kind of just run through them, a little bit of information on each one. Let's start off with the election process. Sean and I, Thaxos, the tech officer, worked hard to get a collection of stats on clan officers. Now, we did this so that we can share these stats with each clan during the clan review process of the election process. This gives clans the ability to see whether their officers are actually living up to their responsibilities or not, or if there should be some improvement made. So we worked hard to get those stats up and running and start supplying those to clans. We also changed the election process around this year by starting sort of, for lack of a better word, starting at the top with the conclave elections, going down to the regional commanders elections, and then the ALARAD elections. The reason we did this, so that everybody knows, is that it gave the people who actually worked with everybody that past year the ability to actually evaluate the job they did. In the past, by doing the ALARAD elections first, we had a lot of times where new people were coming in and asked to vote on a position that they didn't know the processes and the responsibilities that that position was supposed to have. So they weren't really voting with any sort of idea on whether or not that person did their job or didn't live up to their responsibilities and so forth. So that's why we made the change. And to be quite honest, I think it worked out really good. We got a much better turnout with the voting, and we had a lot more, I want to say, valuable questions asked. So I think it worked out well. We also did a little bit something extra this year where we asked each ALARAD candidate and each regional commander candidate a set of 3 questions to better give members an idea of who this candidate was and what they want to try to do for the club. Now, that was a suggestion made by the general membership. I thought it was a good one, and we took it and ran with it. We are looking to fine-tune that a little bit, maybe include a few more extra questions, or maybe fine-tune the questions themselves. But again, a suggestion from the membership that we actually enacted. So keep those suggestions coming. I love to hear them. As far as the elections themselves, I just want to run through some of the stats that I got when I did these elections here this year. We have 8 regional commanders. Out of those 8, we had 5 regions where only 1 candidate was nominated. Out of all of the 8 regional commanders, we had 3 where they actually held solid elections. And that led us to 3 brand new regional commander candidates that won their elections. The ALARADs, we had just over 43% of the clans that requested an election via their clan review process. So I think having those stats there really helped out. However, we only had 35.5% of the members in those clans actually voting in the clan review process. Excuse me. So while we had a lot of people asking for elections, we really only got a small percentage of each of those clan members actually voting in the review process. That's a little distressing. I'd like to see a bit more of an active role from the membership when it comes to elections. We did have 23 clans who voted to hold elections, and in 6 of those clans, the incumbent ALARAD was the only nominee. That's a little bit distressing since people did decide to vote on elections, and yet we only had 1 member actually nominate themselves for the ALARAD. Again, the system works great when we have active people participating, so we really want to have more members active in their clans if we want to take on the leadership roles and responsibilities to be active and to take part in the election process. Out of all the clans and all of the elections, for all the members that were able to vote in elections, we had 74.81%. That means of all the clans that truly did have an election process, 74.81% of those clan members voted. And that's a good turnout. That means that 3/4 of the people who actually wanted and did hold elections actually voted. So that's great. In the end, we had 12 clans that actually elected new ALARAD, so we have pretty much a nice young crop of leaders coming into the clan officer ranks. As far as clans and membership growing, over the past year, and this is going from May of 2015 to April 2016, we've had 4 new clans that are alphabetically listed. It's Sinceri Werner, covering Wisconsin, Minnesota area, Haranovar, covering Alabama, Juracan, covering Puerto Rico, and Camino, covering New Zealand. We have increased our membership by about I want to say 250 members at the last count again from May of last year till April of this year. I also want to cover, as far as new clans go, we are changing, or we did change the criteria for a new clan. You must have 7 official members. That's up from 5 in the past. I also, for those members out there, I want to make sure we discuss quickly the guidelines for creating a new clan. Basically, clans are able to form in areas where an existing clan does not already operate. This is based on, number one, physical location. How many physical miles or kilometers are you away from the closest clan? And number two, the events. By law, or by the bylaws standard, each clan must have at least one what we call clan level event every year to sustain clanship. So we want to make sure you're going to have enough events where you're going to get at least one clan level event. And speaking of that, a clan level event is an event where you have at least 4 official members attending the event in armor. Now that is an increase over last year. Last year we were allowing 3 members to be considered a clan level event. Since we did increase the minimum official membership, we increased the minimum number of members to have a clan level event. So 4 official members in armor makes it a clan level event. So you want to consider that when you are looking at establishing a new clan. As far as other member changes, I did institute a new welcome letter policy here for the CAO. So anytime we get a new official member into the ranks of the Mercs, I do send them out a welcome letter with links to all of the areas that they should be viewing. The codex, the bylaws, the member's handbook. I also have created a welcome letter for clan officers, and I'm sure many of you out there on this meeting received this. And that clan officer letter sends out, again, a PM with links to all of the various areas you should become aware of. So we did make those changes, and we're happy to say that they seem to be working well. I got a lot of good feedback from them, from the membership, so I'm glad to see that. Now the May the 4th awards, which are coming up here next week, we are adding a new May the 4th award this year. It's called the Caring Mando. It is for members who have recorded 40 or more charity hours out there during the year. So this is going to be very important for all of you Verilors and Ailerats to make sure that you're properly recording and reporting charity hours for the members that go to charity events. Speaking of the reporting and recording, invasion reporting, we made a change again last year where we made it mandatory for every clan to have a sort of report your troops here thread. This is to be used by all members to report any events they attend where maybe a clan officer wasn't there or didn't take a role. This way, all of your clan officers can be made aware of every invasion you do. It is up to each member to make sure your clan officers know that you did an event, whether it was a solo event or it was an event where a clan officer couldn't attend. So that's what that thread is for. It worked out well, I mean extremely well, in the beta tests we did with a few clans, and that's why we rolled it out to everybody. Now the AILRAD is ultimately responsible for ensuring all invasions are reported to the CAO team, and on top of that, they're responsible for making sure they report it within 2 weeks of the date the event actually took place. So AILRADs, while you can delegate this responsibility to Verilors, it is ultimately yours, and you want to make sure your people understand that as well. So if you have people that are out there and they're not reporting troops to you until 5 and 6 months after they took place, let them know that they need to report those earlier. This way you can get them reported to us and we can make sure the records are accurate. Well, there you go, folks. Those are the changes from the CAO office. Thank you all for taking the time to listen.
Wow, why does that sound so rehearsed?
Hey, I'm a professional.
Thanks, Sal. We've got Mike, right? Is that Mike filling in? Or no, Will. Sorry, Will's filling in for Lord Kin for the Conclave Minister.
Do it in
Can you give us a? What's that?
It's got to do it in a British accent then.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be in a British accent, otherwise we won't meet our quota for the day.
You don't.
Will, are you ready?
I'm gonna. I'll butcher any British accent. It'll like go throughout the different like countries even. I'll start English and then end up German.
Well, you can at least give us his words if you can't give it to us in his accent.
All right. So since the last assembly, we had a restructure in the regional leadership. In addition to the regional commanders, we have added the regional Versols, who are in charge of training the current and future Barrelors. They will also run any merchandise runs for the region, and they'll be acting as the regional commanders if the regional commanders become unavailable. And they'll also do anything that the regional commanders decide should be assigned for them. And they'll also be the direct contact for the PR officer for any PR issues going forwards. We also have the regional Russols, which you have heard mentioned before. They will be training all current and future Russolors. They will also be acting as Russolors for any future members that are in a region that do not have clan or stronghold for support. And they will also be ensuring that all the Russolors will be passing CRL changes and any other costume-related information to the respective clans and strongholds. And like the Versols, they will have any other responsibilities that are assigned by the regional commander. And they are also going to be taking part, as you heard before, in the pre-application process. Beyond that, we have added the Conclave Warden, which is my position where I help assist the Conclave Minister when he is unavailable, and also run our upcoming training program, which at first is focusing at least on the clan leadership, which should be launching soon once we get a couple of tech things done on the forums to get them all set up. And that's pretty much everything going on there.
Thank you so much. And just to confirm, we didn't get anything through the Russols from the Alarads, from the membership themselves, that needed to be brought up at this time?
That's correct. We have to assume that everything's going great.
All right, well, we'll assume that there were maybe some snags in private messages that didn't get through, and if you know how to use the Google Hangouts YouTube chat question and answer features, we'll keep an eye on that, and if there's something that we can bring up and answer during this meeting, we will. If not, pay attention to the announcement thread, and we'll post up any questions and answers at the conclusion. Matt, do you want to jump in for Roki? He's covering down for the Brigade Marshal, not able to make it in today. Matt, you have anything?
Just going to talk about brigades for a second here. We had 31 new members last year, 4 that actually went dual brigades, so that's good. 16 were in the offensive division, 12 were in the support division. We had 3 more cannon additions. We got some projects coming up. Continuing projects are always going to be the 2-year reviews. We got to get those done. If you are a brigade member and you have not submitted pictures for your 2-year review, you've got to get on that. We don't have time to chase you all down. It's your responsibility to do it, and no one wants to lose their tag. We got some merch coming up. There's some dog tag coins that are going out. Right now they're available to brigade members only, and in a few days they're going to be opening up to UMs to buy on the general merch forum. We're talking about adding a few new brigades. Droid Hunter is gaining some ground, and that's getting worked on. Still have some fine-tuning to do on that one, and then the Privateer, which is pretty well set up. Just a few small things to iron out on that one, and that could be happening very soon. In the future, we've got some things going on with the BRLs. We're going to do a total upgrade on the main page, and it's going to be big. So, working on that. We're still working on the date for that, when that's going to go live, but it's definitely in the works. And that's all I got.
Thanks, Matt. That's all of the rest of the council, right, except for me, and nobody else has any. We hit everybody, right?
Just wait
Silence
on
is consent. All right, fantastic. Well, finances are set. We'll actually publish a general report of income and expenditure. You can expect that on May 4th. As for the contact, that was a big question over the past year, is how are Disney and LFL reaching out to the Mercs and to individual clans. If you're Alarad, if you are an Alarad or a regional commander, your email addresses are on a spreadsheet that I have that goes to Disney, and every time that there's an update, so somebody switches responsibilities or takes on a new role or leaves a role, we update that list and it goes up to Disney and LFL. Now, if they are reaching out to you, that's fantastic, but we would strongly encourage that if you need to reach out to Disney and LFL, that you do so through our chain of command and let either Corey as the quartermaster for merchandise issues or for the public relations deal with it. Please pass it up the chain and let them handle it appropriately. If we continue to flood Disney and LFL with requests that could be handled in-house, it gets a little inundating for them. So if you feel that there's an issue and you're not getting information from them that you need to, please let me know. That way I can make sure your email addresses are accurate. Other than that, that's pretty well set. We've got some big plans over the next couple of years. Tom touched on it a little bit. We are starting a new program where we're going to be development and outreach. Tom, do you want to speak to that at all, or do we want to let that just unfold as it goes?
We'll probably put a little bit more information out about it as time goes on, but yeah, we're looking at starting a development team, which is basically going out and I guess the best way to say it is soliciting funds, sponsorships, getting corporate sponsors. We've been given the green light to do that from Lucasfilm, and it's in writing, and a way to help get more funding for Merck so that we can grow and kind of carry our message a little bit better and get to the fans better and do the things that we do so well, much better and in different places and things like that. So that's one thing we're going to be working on here real soon, is getting a development team of members together who have some experience in this, that can help us with that. So.
Yep, and for our general membership, if you have experience and don't want to be a leader of your clan or local area, but you want to help the Mercs in any way, shape, or form, even if it just means sitting in on a panel that convenes once or twice a year and says, hey, here's some ideas, shoot me a message. Let me know. I can absolutely find a place for you in the archives teams. We, not that we're ever lacking in personnel, but we can always use more. More experience, more diversity is always a wonderful thing. So if you have an interest in supporting the Mercs at the global level, please let me know. We can use you in whatever facet you would love to help out in. That being said, do we have any questions from the Q&A section there?
I do not see any.
Fantastic. Well, we'll call this last chance for alibis. Anything that anybody forgot or needs to step in and say before we head out?
I think I'd like to just say one thing, if it's all right with you.
Yes, please.
Since you did mention letting you know about email addresses and all that, let me just point out there to the general membership and to the clan officers, anytime you have a member that makes a change, whether it be to address or email address, anything like that, please inform either myself via PM or a member of the CAO team, so we can go ahead and make sure we update our records, because this way, everybody, all of the officers, clan officers, and the council members will be aware of any changes for that member.
That's super helpful. Thanks, Sal. Anyone else?
I've got one real quick.
Sure.
Starting next month, once a month, I'm going using Google Hangouts. I'm going to be doing a 1-hour kind of a leadership call. Anybody who wants to partake in that, I'm hoping maybe clan officers would partake in it. It's really going to be geared more towards clan officers. Hop in the call, hop in the hangout. We're going to go over some, just some just some little leadership things. I think that's always something that's kind of needed out there. Mainly just questions for me, questions for you guys, maybe how practices on some things. I just feel like I think everybody does a great job what they're doing. All the Alarads do a great job, but everybody can always do a little better, always increase their knowledge a little bit more. And I like to know personally myself what you guys are doing out there, and concerns that you have, and things that we can maybe talk about. So each month, and it will be announced at least 2 weeks beforehand. Each month I'm going to do like I said, a Google Hangout leadership call, and we'll just have a little hour kind of fireside chat. So expect that to start next month.
Sounds good, FDR.
All right, last call. Anybody else from the council have anything they need to report on?
Yeah, you said there'd be karaoke. When does that start?
About 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Unfortunately, we've run out of time for the day. Everybody, thank you so much for attending. We'll post up some minutes both on the YouTube event page and the announcements thread to the links for what we've talked about and what's to come, and possibly even some references of what we talked about and where to go to get more information. So with that being said, thank you all very much for attending, listening, and being patient through our whole ordeal. As always, please submit your questions and let us know what we missed out, forgot to mention, or just let us know how awesome we are. We always appreciate it. Thanks.
Let the karaoke begin.
Strangers in the night.